Okay, good evening, friends. Let me share my screen. I think I am able to share. Okay, cool. Is my screen visible? Can anyone please respond me?
Yeah, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, sure. So in today's session, we'll again learn 2-3 new filters that are quite new, and we'll be learning more about the world objects and some face tracker too. So let's begin with the world object. So I'll be using a template so that it will be easy for us to understand, as well as even you will get what's actually happening in front end as well as back end. So just a minute until it gets open. Okay, so as you can see that it's there. So let me change my camera because I was working on face filter. So yeah, let me take the maximum. Cool. If you want to use this template, first of all, you have to delete the existing project that is already there. So let me choose this background because it will clearly be understandable, and let me remove this. Delete me, and we will delete this as well as the ring that was there, this one, because that's of no use for us. And for the animation loop, let's stop it. So I'll just make the speed as 0. Now what we will do is we'll go to the assets library and find some 3D objects that we could use. So let's use some. I think in the previous project I was working on, so it will be in my recent projects. Okay, so let's download this bird and see how it will work in our project. So I think it's being downloaded. So what you have to do is, while making the world AR effects, you have to firstly you will drag this to the null object. So if we look the hierarchy here, so you will see in the scene that first of all we have a plane tracker. If you don't want to use the template directly, you can start with the blank project. You will go to the add objects and you can add a plane tracker first, and then inside the plane tracker you are going to add a null object, this one. So once you add a null object, then it's up to you, like you can easily drag inside the null object if you don't want the animation loop, because since I have already stopped it, so even this animation loop is of no use. So what I will do is I will drag this, and let me drag it inside a null object. Now what you will do is whenever you are going to download any 3D object, its size will be quite large, so you have to scale the size of the object. So what we will do is we'll go to scale, and let's little bit decrease its size, and its position, let's move it. And what we will do is we will add an animation. Now since the creator who created this 3D objects has already added the animation inside this, so what you can do it, you will just click it on the 3D object, and in the animation, as you can see in the right hand side, you will go to animation and create new animation controller. So since it was already existing in this, so it will just appear. Now as you can see that the ring is also visible because it was in the template itself. So we will just make it disable, and what we will do is we will just make use of little bit concept that is already existing here. So if you are adding a plane tracker as a blank project, so you have to uh, know about like how you're going to do, because since if a user clicks on it and resize its shape and size, so he or she can be able to do it. Let me change it. Okay, so for that, what you will be doing is there will be three things that is already occurring, but since I just saw the patches, so it is already here. See, we have screen pan, screen rotate, and screen pinch. So inside the template is quite useful because if you are creating a blank project, then you have to create these assets, these patches here. Sorry, because see, if I just see in my device, I would be able to zoom in, zoom out, even I would be able to rotate the screen. Since whenever I'll just click on it or I'll just try to rotate it, the object would be able to rotate it because we have used these patches here. But if you are going with a blank project, you have to create these patches. So for example, if you want to learn it, so what we will be doing is currently we will just remove these and let's try to create our own. So we will right click here and let's add first of all screen pan. So it will capture when somebody moves their finger across the screen in any direction. It could be X, Y, or Z axis. So we will add it and just a minute, let me remove this from here and let me delete it from here also. Okay, so as a like if you want to do these things by yourself, so you will just open a blank project, add a plane tracker, and then you will start uh, doing this what I am doing right now. So what we will do in the screen pan, we have three inputs, that is three outputs. We have gesture, state, 2D offset, and 2D position. So we will take the 2D offset and we will attach it to divide patch. Now what divide patch will do, it will divide one as it says one, it will divide one value from another value. So you would be able to use this patch with colors, numbers, or vector 1 2 3, all these directions you can use it. So since we'll be using vector 2D, and the out from this output we are going to unpack it, and even unpack should be vector 2. So vector 2 is from x-axis, as well as we are giving the values from x and y values. If we are going with vector 3, it will be x, y, and z axis. And if we are going with vector 4, then it will be having x, y, z, as well as alpha value. So let's move with vector 2 now. And what we will do is we will pack it. So let's click on pack and let's add x and y value to it. And what we will do is we will go to our 3D object and we will scale its position. So you can just attach it to here. And the other thing would be we will use screen rotate. We'll multiply it. We have to go with rotation, not with the gesture state. And then we will go to pack. Here, and then we will just click on rotate and let's rotate it to 180 degree. And let's attach it. Change it to -1. And then we will add new pinch. So it will capture when somebody pinches on the device or screen. Again, with the scaling, we'll pack it and we're going to pack from all the excess, and then we'll add it to our scale. So once you do this, you will be able to see that how actually it will be able to work when you are screening it inside your project. If you are directly using the template, you don't have to do all these things. So you just have to take care of this, and even you can find the other assets too. For example, zombies. So if I just download any of the zombie here, say for example, let's take this one. Its geometry is more than 50,000. So we won't be able to use for Instagram. What about let's see about this. Cool, we can use this one. So let me discard this project, and again let's open the world object. Couple of minutes. I think someone's mic is on. Can you please unmute it? Okay, so we have to delete this one, and we will add a zombie here. And let's drag it to our existing null object and then scale it. So here we have to even stop this loop animation. And let's rescale it. So we'll be scaling it. And we can add an effect, simple animate, for example, pulse. And let's change the duration to 5 seconds. And even you can change the curve also, likewise you want. And what we could do is we can add emitter particle system. So we can add some effects that would be like some bats are falling or something like that. So we will add this emitter to our plane. Let me increase its size. And we will add a material to it. Let's change it to flat. And we will go to emitter and let's change its values. So we'll be taking it to line, and let me disable this ring. from here we can add a texture. For example, let's add, let me see if something is there in my project, otherwise we can download it. So let's see, we have this one. Let's open it. Responding, just wait a minute. Okay, okay. Let's go to the texture, and what we will do is we'll just make it none because compression should be not there, otherwise the effect will take too much time to get loaded. And let's increase the size and emitter particles too. So let's go to birth rate as 35, and let's go with the scaling size, speed 0.3, 0.1, and we can also change its size and shape 0.5, 0.1 is okay. Let's 0.15. And what we could do is we can change the saturation if we want, so it will be quite more faster. And we will be changing the scale to 0.1, 0.05. Okay, and change it to a little bit upwards. Its speed should be 0.5. No. You can set the speed the way you want. And what we could do is we can add a rectangle here. Inside up here. And let's change the shader type to flat. We can add a texture from the assets library. So for example, we take color cycle. Let's drag it to our patch editor. Sorry. And then we'll take the material texture. To 12.3, 0.2. This is fine. Random start and reverse. So everything we can do it. And even the texture has been applied to this also, emitter also. So you can just set it according to your wish, like whatever you want. You can even add the emitter and let's add some smoke effect also. So you, in the materials, you will add a fog. The fog, you can find the PNG image of the fog from internet itself. So like this, it will be like somewhat ghost effect. I'll just save it so I can share it with you. Then let's go to AR and save it. So that's how you can create the word AR of projects and filters like what as you wish, and it would be more creative if you can also find in the assets library that there would be scary house also. So you can also add it. Just remember that your project should not exceed more than 4 MB if you're working on Insta. So like this, you can even add that scary house and even 3D spider or skulls, and then you can even set it to your face. Like you can position it on your face, so it will directly come. So if you are wondering how you can position it on your face, so you will just click on it. For example, if we go to any face filter, cool. Now what if I want this 3D object to interact with the face? Now currently it is in plain tracker, but I want it to interact on face. So what I will do is I'll just click on the 3D object and let's go to the add effect here, and we will position it on face. For example, if we position it on nose, so you can see that it will directly appear on the nose. But just a minute, let me check it. And you have to remove this tracker. It is actually responding, but because of the theme emitter, let me disable this, or else I'll start with the new one. Control Z. Or I'll explain you this in my next project, because I'll be explaining you some more about the face tracker, where you will be all thinking like how those effects are made. For example, where only eyes and mouth are visible. So in the coming class, I mean just right now only, we'll be learning that. Let me change its scale a little bit more. We can add a shadow. Let me go to plane only right now, because we cannot work currently on both the trackers. So let's go here, and you will be able to see that it's just little bit shadow is also here. Whenever you will just see on your device, you will be able to look at it. So you can send it and test it, then you can upload to your to your Spark Hub. So that's how you can create the world AR effects. So that's it for now. Let's go and learn something new. Okay, so you guys would have seen the effects where only eyes are available or mouth are there. For example, lemon tree effects you would have seen, or ice cream, or some hat, talking hat. like that. So let's see how those effects are created. So we'll go to blank project and let's wait until the project gets loaded. Then we'll see how it's cool. So what we will do is we'll switch to a face. Say for example this one, and what we will do is we'll add a face tracker here. Mm, and inside the face tracker we will add a face mesh. Let's take the shader type as flat. We'll go to the face tracker and extract the texture of the face. So we will go to our face mesh, and in the texture we will add this face tracker texture. So you can see it here, like if I remove it, it won't be there. So what we will do is we will go to its alpha and we will be adding of like what I did is from the PixArt or Photoshop, I have extracted the eyes as well as mouth. So I made it the eyes and mouth as like I painted it as black. So if I go to my assets texture, so we will be able to see this. And let me uncheck the eyes as well as mouth. Now see, in the frame, you won't be able to see the changes, but if you see directly here on the viewport, you could see that we have just extracted the eyes as well as mouth. So what I did in PixArt, I extracted this eyes as well as mouth. Let me compress it. And now what we will do is we'll go to our assets library and we can find some foods, or like if you want to make it anyways, like whatever you want, you can do it. So let's see how it works here. Let me see if some is available. uh, um, okay, let's export this one. Wait until it gets downloaded to your project. We will go to view and show and hide patch editor. Just for now, let me minimize it. And what we will do is we will take and drag this 3D object to our face tracker. Now the object is very large, so we will just pause the video and let me first scale it. Increase its width and height little bit, and okay. Now what we will do is we will just add a rectangle here. And let's go to Google and find some lemon. Let's take this one only. Image. And let's drag it to our project. Let me compress the files. And we will add here in the material texture. Let's change it to flat because we don't want that lightning light effect. And let me add this lemon. Abhi, what we will do is we will go to advanced and right to depth we will uncheck, because if you'll go and do the use step, then the front face will also get disappear. It will go back to the rectangle because of the layering. So see this. Let me change it to my face and let me rescale it. So what I will do is I'll just go to my 3D asset and let me rescale it a little bit upwards so that my face is not visible. Control Z and let me change this. Go to the face and uncheck the mouth also. So you can do it like this. If you go back. Okay. Cool. So like this, you can easily make the lemon effect. Now, if you're wondering that if you want this eye or like eye texture and mouth a little bit closer, so what we will do is we will just hide it as of now, and we will duplicate this, duplicate its material, this one. So let's go here and change it for eye texture. Let me make it visible. Eye texture. So what we will do is in the alpha, we'll go and go to new texture. And see, like this, what I did for right eye, left eye, and for mouth, I have taken and saved it differently. So if we take the left eye and let me duplicate this eye 2, and for the eye 2, let me duplicate here and let's add it here. And what we will do is we'll go to its alpha. Let's connect both of them. Go to its alpha, extract its texture. That would be the right eye. And let me make it more closer. from the left eye also. Let's scale it. Little bit backward, front. Let me undo it. Mm, Let me scale it little bit downwards and inside it. Okay. So for the right eye, what we will do is and let me make this one little closer. This is okay. Cool. Now what I want to do is let me duplicate it once again. And for the material also, this would be our lips. Go to lips and let's take the texture of our lips from the alpha. And drag it little bit upwards. For this one also, we will just uncheck the options here. That would be advanced rendering so that the back it won't collide with the left and right eyes and lips too. Now that's what we can do, and let's increase its size. So I'll just select everything, go to the scaling and let me increase its size. Nice. And let me keep it more closer. Cool. So like this, you can create the filter and you can just adjust it. Instead of this, you can even go and make of anything you want, like whatever your favorite character is, or for example, talking phone or talking cat or anything like that. And just make sure that it's scaled properly. Okay, so this is fine. I'll just save it. Control S. And we'll just see how it works once again for different applications. I mean, different. Folder, and you have to make sure this works. You should just make sure about the depth as it works or not. So that's how you can make it, and just upload it over here. So I'll just save it. And the next thing that we are going to learn today is the new capabilities that have just arrived in the Spark, that are hand tracker as well as the body movement. So if we open the hand movement template, let's try to figure this one first. So let's go and see how it works. So for the hand movement, what we will do is, if we just see, if we show a hand to the camera, it will start responding it. So if we figure out how it is actually working, like as a beginner, what you can do is you can just replace it, replace the texture. So for example, if we replace this clouds with something that we could just see, for example, let's replace it to let's go to download and see if anything is there. For example, let's take this one. So see, and if you want to remove this middle one, so you can just make it opacity is 0. Now what you could do is you can just bring off some more emitters. For example, let's add, and let me show it. So particle system, let's go to view and show height patch editor. So what we will do is we'll go to plane or ring, anything that works fine. And let me add a material here. Let's add a new material. The shader type is flat. And let's add a texture here. For example, let's add this ghost here. So what we will do is, first of all, we'll go to emitter and let's change its birth rate as 35, and let's change its speed as well as scale 0.1. Let's change its station as well as what we could do is zero point zero 0.05. I think this is okay. And let me change its spray angle to 10 from x-axis. And what we will do, lifespan is 1. And what we will do is we'll attach its visibility with the where the hand visibility is there. So what will happen as soon as you show your hand with ghost, all this effect will start rolling over. So if I attach its visibility to the hand bowling box, that is being your hand finder is being attached to hand select, where it will see where hand is actually selected or not, and then we'll make it visible. What will happen as soon as you show your hand, this emitter will start rolling over your screen. So for example, this one. So like this, you can create and you can experiment. For example, we have some smokes here rolling with your hand, and make sure that your emitter advanced rendering option is unchecked to its depth. Otherwise, both the texture will start colliding each other. So now see. So like this, you can create something. You can just explore it and see how it is actually working over. So that's how this hand movement is works. And the best thing is, the more you start experimenting, the more you will uh, get it. And if you want to go to the Sparkia documentation, so there also they have explained it very nicely. For example, hand and body in Sparkia. So if we see this one, then you will see that um, there they have explained in the documentation how you can actually use it. You can just download the project and start exploring it by adding a hand object. So this one. There are different properties as well as description that are being there in the hand tracker. For example, layer that will assign the hand tracker to a layer or new one, so that like if we have different layers, so the collision of layers won't take place. Then visibility, we saw how it we will be able to make the material visible. Then we have transformation, so you can't change the position scale of a hand tracker, of course, but you can change the position from the ones that you have as a child. For example, we added a emitter or rectangle in canvas, etc. Then there are different interaction. For example, click create to insert the patches that represent the hand tracker. So all these things, for example, we saw this, there was a hand finder, and then in that there was some attached patches that were hand select, and from the hand select it was the visibility in the from hand walling box. So you can just explore it, what is hand finder and what hand select do. So all these things will make your concepts more clear. So we have this project in it, so you can just download it and start exploring this one. So that's how the hand tracker works. And if we see about the body tracker, So this is again a new capability that is being enrolled from version 126. So with this, it tracks the movement of your body, and like even the small detailing is being tracked from body landmark patches. There are two different patches that is being here added. So here also body finder, the patch that represent the body detect by the camera, and body select. So if we see this patch, so what you could do is you can customize it. For example, let me open this one. So we have body select that can adjust the value in the patch to select a specific body detected by the body finder patch. And you can add a texture here, see like how it is shown in the example here. So let me see if the project has been opened. So like if you are willingly to customize this body texture, then what you could do is, let me first change it to, okay. So if you want to customize it, what you will do is you will just download this replace me, and here you can change the texture. Either you can use Photoshop or some other softwares, and you can just add your texture here. For example, here you can add some hat or some what all you want on face, then on body, hand, like this you can customize it, and then you can replace it. So it will become very easy, and with this also you can just add more emitters, and if you want some more interactions you can add it, you can customize according to your own way. So that's one way of doing it, so that even as a beginner you can start exploring it how it is working. And if you want this, you can just save the project, and in the textures you will get this one easily. So that's how you can just see how the body tracker also works. So for the next thing, what we could do is, let's see how this, let's make some filter. So we will start from blank project, like how you can use the existing patches that are available on Spark and start customizing your own filters. So I have opened the blank project here, and we will go to assets library and patch assets. So here there are lot of patches that are available. So if you want to explore it, just click it and start seeing it, what's happening and how it will be making. You can make it. For example, this is the chromatic aberration. So what you can do is you can just download this patch. So this patch will be ready for you. And what you will do is you can add a camera texture and device, and you can take the output as your screen device. So for example, I want to explore this one. So I will just import it, and we will start exploring this one. So we'll go to view, show and hide patch editor, and let's drop it. Now let's see how the functionality will be working here. So we need a texture as an input, and for an output, there is one more texture that will be the texture for this patch. So if you click on the patch, you will be seeing so many things that have been happened. Like this is how the patch was made by the creator who has made it. So we won't discuss here like what is actually happening, but somewhat you can see that it is not that difficult to understand this. You can see that SDF is being applied here, then some gradients, fizzle, etc. So let's go back to the main. I'm sorry. So we'll go to camera and extract the camera texture. And what we will do is we'll just go here, and we'll just extract the texture, and we'll add a rectangle over here. Let's add a rectangle here, and let me change its demo video, and let me extract it. Change the shader type to flat. And what we need in the screen size, we need the device. So we will click on device and drag it to our patch, go to the screen size and just add it to the screen size of the device as well as the chromatic aberration. Okay, so what we will do is we will attach it to the texture. Now see what is happening here. In the background, if you try to change its intensity, for example 10, so you could see some 3D effect that is being rolling over here. Then you can change its lens distortion. For example, I'll just go with 1, and you can check on the other people how it is working. So for example, with 10 it seems like this, 5 so it is less intense. So like this you can just roll up and start exploring lens. See, like this. 1, or if you want 1.3, a little bit. So like this you can always work on it. So it always be seems little bit complex, but once you start exploring it becomes easy for you. And if you want to see that what happened, you can just see how normally it was looking and now. So like this you can use different patches from the assets library, and if we explore some more, then we will see in the let's see, for example 2 into 2 texture mixture. So what we will see here is a type of collage that you make. So for example, abhi let me disable this rectangle, and what we will do is take this texture mixture here. Now what it needs, again a camera texture as well as the output as a rectangle. So I'll go to the canvas, right click it and add a new rectangle. I'll be filling its width and height. Let me add a material to it. And let's extract its texture. Now see what happens. If I just click on top left, you will be able to see a rectangle here. So, see, like this. Now if you add on the top right one more rectangle, you could see bottom and bottom right. So see, instead of creating 4 rectangle, going with 2D distortion, 2D transformer pack, and then making it like a collage. So the creator made it so easy for us. You can just explore it here only. Like this. And if you want to add one texture and then to it, rectangle, then also you could do. For example, let's try this. Only for background I was needing this one. Let's explore more patches. So with this, you can have 3 by 3 filter. That would be like 6 blocks here. Then we have for gamings, we have different patches that you can use directly. And you can make the use of blur patch and can create filters with that. We have segmentations, then we have fade in, fade out, and color spectrum. So you don't need to add all the different colors and then extracting it towards some material. You can directly use this for the rainbow texture. See, it just needs the device input here as a screen size, and then you can just add a rectangle and its texture here. Then SDF timers, slit filters, texture distortion. So this is also a very easy and widely used effect. So if you want to try it, so let's make in a project, existing project. So we'll import this one, and we need one more patch, that is ripple. So that will be acting here in the distortion texture. So let me add. So like if you want to learn, so you can see here what's actually happening. So we will go to our project, and let me disable this rectangle also. We'll be adding one more rectangle here. Fill its width and height, add a material to it. And what we can do is we will just take this distortion shadow. It needs input as a camera texture, so we'll just make it a little down. Let's attach to it. And then we need a ripple effect that will bring that those watery effect to our texture. And then we need the material texture here. Now see, we can just play around this here. So what we could do is, let's change the scaling to 2, smoothness to 2. Here, if you want something like this. So what we will do is, we'll add a loop animation here so that animation looks smooth. So we'll add a loop animation here, and let's scale it to, or even we can change it offset or shifting. So see, it feels like wind is blowing heavily. So let me mirror it, and let's change it to 1 second. Smoothness 2 is okay. Scale we could see 3. Like this, you can play around how it is working. And even you can change the color if you want. Not from here. Just a minute. We could add one more rectangle here. If we shift to y-axis, then it looks something like this. And for smoothing, it looks like this. So it all depends on you, how you want the filter to look like. So yeah, that's how you can make it. And if you explore more patches, you can see from here, for example, mirror effect, or you can go with check boxes, four color gradient. Where did blur patch went? I'm looking for it. Blur. So if we want to work on only blur file, then we can just attach from here blur, and amount that could be 0.7. Okay, this is fine. So if you want to add, let me remove this blue texture first. Let's change it to white. This one. And what we could do is we can just add here 2D text. Okay, let's remove it. And you can insert date here. With it, you can also insert time here and rescale its precision, for example here, and then you can pin it. So like this you can create even blur effects. You can just change the amount of blur the way you want. So that was one way how you can create and use the existing patches in your project. And I think I forgot to explain you one more thing. So for example, let me close this project and let me open new one. So if you are not much familiar with the LUTs and you want to explore it, so let's make this filter with some of the face gestures. For example, person smiles or a person just what we could say make some face effects. That could be head nod or something like that. So how our effect could work and how we can make it. So for that, we need two things in our patch. One would be face finder and the other would be face select. And now we can add our existing gesture. So before that, what I wanted to tell you is go to the color LUTs and let's take this one, import it. Done. We'll go here, right click it, go to actions, apply to camera. So you can see that the effect is being applied here. So if I add a rectangle here, go to the assets library and let me search adjust color. Okay, wait. I have already downloaded, maybe it could be there. Okay, it's not there. Let me find it here. Adjust color. Import it. And let's drag it to our patch editor. Take its texture as a camera texture. And then the material over it. We can change more brightness if you want 0.1, or let's take it saturation is -1, so black and white, and let me change it to 0 only. Invert if you want, all up to you. Now what I want that as soon as a user smiles it, the effect should go on black and white. So what I could do is I'll just go to rectangle and let me add that. Let me change slightly as 0.3. So see what happens if we go through this patch, that is smile. So what we need is for this we need input as a face gesture. So what I did is I have taken the face finder that will find the face, and face select will select for how many face we want this effect to be visible. Now what we want is we cannot directly connect it to the rectangle because there is no such gesture that is being found here. What if I select the face? Now what you want, like you need to have some interactions here, like blink or eyebrows load, raised, happy face, head nod, head shake, object tap, etc, etc. So what we need, for example, smile, so we can add it over here, and then we will attach this face to the smiling face and then make it visible. Now see, if the user smiles, it will be black and white. A minute, let me integrate my camera. So you could see that if you stop smiling, it will just disappear. So that's how you can make those effects more interactive towards your expressions. So like this is smile patchworks. It detects the mouth movements. If you want to detect movements across the face to determine the user looks happy in your effect. So that's how you can make this effect, and it becomes really easy to understand too, just by using the patches. And what you could do is you go to device, and in the instructions just indicate that smile. So that's how you can do it. If you want to add some more things here, for example, some dust effects or something, you will just add a rectangle. I think up to now you guys would be very familiar with this, but still let me try to add it. What happened? Okay, we add it. Go to your rectangle and just in the blend mode, choose screen. See, you could see the dust effect here. This is normal and this is dust one. Okay, so this is one thing, and the other thing that I wanted to tell you all is just a minute, let me show you. So if we are making the use of textures, let me disable right now for this one. And if we add one more canvas here in the rectangle, you can add new material and let's change its texture as camera texture. But before that, let me remove it and go to our edges color only, and let me add it over here because I want that patch to be black and white. Now what I will do is with this rectangle, I'll set its rotation towards 90 degrees. Yeah, 180. And I'll add one more rectangle over here. And let's choose its texture as camera texture. It's the rectangle. Let me make it little bit half towards the screen and half black and white. Okay. Like this. So what you could do is if you want this, it should be the rectangle should be pinned. You must do the pinning, otherwise it will become a messed up, and in some devices it will be overlapping each other like that. And what you could do is you can add some more rectangles and make some collage if you want, and like upside down filter, and like you can just think of it and create it by your own creativity. So that's how you can just make it. And if you want one more, and like if you want both the effect should be a little bit blur, so you can add a blur patch and attach to it. So that's how you can do it, and it becomes so easy to understand too. And even we have used this LUT effect, so it is visible again. And here they have just used the shader underpass with this color LUT, with the texture as its camera texture and the color LUT. And we have the screen output as the screen device as the output. So like this, you can keep on exploring the filters the way you want, and you can make it. So I'll just remove this one. Guys, do you have any doubt? Guys, do you have any doubt? No doubts? Okay. I consider that no one is having any doubt. Okay, let's wait until the blind project gets open. Now, what I want to do is I'll add a 3D object that would be a simple sphere or star something. Add a sphere. Done. What we will do is we'll add a face tracker here. Now see how it will be looking. So like this, you can replace it towards the forehead, and let me increase its size little bit. Now I want to explain you about the texture, this environmental texture and this physically based texture, how it works. So see, in this texture, what we have added in the material, we have this default environmental texture that you could see here. And if I make it 0, so it is less metallic. Let me remove the patch editor and let's view the physically based how it looks like. So see, this is pure silver. Now roughness you can increase and decrease according to your requirements. So let's keep it 50 only to make it a silverish glow. And if you want it to be a little bit golden, you can add yellow color over it. You can even change the blend mode the way you want. So let us keep it alpha only for now. And if you change it to flat, so you will see only this texture. It won't be much metallic look. But yeah, you can even add your own texture here. Say for example, you want something like earth, day or night effect, and it would be 3D effect. So I don't know like if I'm having or not, but for now, let me show one of the, okay, let's take this one. So see, if I just change its position, let me remove it from here. And let's increase its size. So what you could do is you can add rotation here. So just animate it, spin it, float it like this. You can decrease the speed it over here. For example, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You can even make it as a world AR effect, and you can add some more planets here, and you could create the background as black and white or some galaxies. So it will look like a galaxy effect. That will interact with your face, of course. It opened it. Forgot. Wait for a couple of minutes. Think, okay, it came. Let me change it to flat. Oh, what happened here? Oh, the screen got stuck. So anyways, I was just adding a background little bit black, and then you could merge the colors. Okay, okay. So like this, it will interact with your face. And even you can add some more. For example, stars, if you want to add, you can add, go to emitter, add over here. Add a material. Change the shader type to flat, and in advanced rendering option, uncheck the depth and effects. So go to your emitter and go to shapes, click on star. Go too much size, 0.001. Yeah, too small, but it is looking good. 50. And you can change the color of it. For example, little blue. Let's create little silver. And now texture of blue. Anyways, you can play around it. And what we could do is from the emitter, you can change the acceleration and little bit scaling or lifespan. For example, 1 second, it will roll more upwards. So yeah, that's how you can create so many different planets and all, and you could just roll over the effect. So I hope guys have understood over this. And if you have any doubt, you can just let me know. Guys, understood. Guys, okay then. Aditya, my screen was visible, right? Yeah, okay, I got it. Stop sharing. Okay, guys, then make effects, share it in our group, and let me know if I could help you with any of the queries I can. So thank you so much for joining with us, and meet you in the next session. Till then, take care. Happy weekend. Welcome. Good night. Bye.